what it is, man. Detroit versus everybody, man. Detroit, we rep the hardest, man. We gain the hardest. You know what it is, man. Detroit, CJ, holla at your boy when we get home.
Most exciting man in boxing. Exciting man in boxing. Led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV.
Yo, this is Deontay the Bronx Bummer Wild, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I'd like to give a big shout out to CJ Goodfellas Sports TV. Bomb Squad, baby.
All right, man. Danny Jacobs loses over in the UK to Jacob-Ryder. Now, Jacob-Ryder was pretty much European level and gets a big world level win. Can't call it a close fight, a robbery. Danny Jacobs made the fight closer than it had to be. I thought that Jacobs' legs probably went, 35 years old, had cancer at one point. All that has an effect on your body. Activity level. He fought once last year. He fought once in 2020. Last time he fought twice was in my bad. I'm looking at Jacob-Ryder's resume. But Jacob-Ryder, he's 33, so he ain't too far off. But lost to Callum Smith by decision. A true 168-pounder, 975. Lost to Rocky Fielding by split decision. Lost to Jake Arnfield. Lost to Nick Blackwell by knockout. Lost to Billy Joe Saunders early in his career, 2013, unanimous decision. And like I said before, for the most part, he's been subjected to European level. And now, according to Eddie Hearn, possibly go up against David Morrell. He's 33 years old. And you look at Danny Jacobs, and basically he was the house fighter fighting in the UK. Danny Jacobs, shook his hand and all that. And when you look at Danny Jacobs' role, his activity level, he didn't fight at all in 2021. Last time he fought was November 27th, 2020. So he fought once in 2020, none in 2021. In 2022, as you get older, you cannot be inactive. You cannot be frozen. That's one thing you look at. You cannot be frozen. You have to be active. And you see the slippage even if he won against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he didn't look good in that fight. The Rosado fight, he got a gift. So it all kind of balance out in boxing, bro. It all truly balances out. In boxing, when you talk about losing, when you talk about robberies and all that, it all balances out. Boxing tends to even itself out. I love to use Erislandy Lara losing to Paul Williams is one of the atrocious robberies I've seen in the last 21 years. And guess what happened? Lara ends up getting the gift versus John Molina. So, it all balances. I think that Molina fight happened before the Paul Williams after. Yeah, but I think it was afterwards. It all tends to balance itself out. Check out the Fight Reaction playlist. You can check out my podcast talk, mostly boxing on there for now. I have some bonus content. So we talk mostly boxing as of for right now. It is on Spotify and Anchor, Goodfella TV podcast. So hopefully you check that out, man. Check my Fight Reaction playlist out. And honestly, bro, man, Danny Jacobs lost this fight. It's not complicated at all, bro. Danny Jacobs lost this fight. I think with inactivity, a lot of these guys, they get spoiled with a certain dollar tag that they make in these fights, and they don't want to take less money, to stay active. They want to wait around to a big fight day come around, or where they could be the main event. Let this be a lesson, bro. You a champion or you former champion or you a contender, man, keep fighting. That's going to be your advantage. Keep fighting, bro. Keep fighting. That is your advantage. Keep fighting. Take what they give. You got to go to co-main event. If you got to go to the opening fight card, it don't matter. Do what you got to do. Making $2 million on the night when you can make 500 million, 500, then make that 2. Stay active. Get in what you fit in. Take what you can get in this boxing game, because overall, it's going to be beneficial towards you. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be beneficial towards you. And at the end of the day, Danny Jacobs, he boxed pretty good early on. The first 6 rounds, you probably could have found 1 round to give to Jacob-Ryder. I think it was the 6th round. Jacob-Ryder almost won the fight. Danny Jacobs stole it at the end of the round. But even when Danny Jacobs was boxing, it just seemed to be something missing there. Even when Danny Jacobs was sticking, moving, just seemed to be something missing. Seemed seeing when he threw that quick jab, it seemed like he was more effective. But it seemed that he was playing with his food. Hit John Ryder with a good shot, then he wouldn't follow up. He doesn't have a killer instinct to finish, and I think exactly that's what it was. It took me a minute to put my finger on it, but Danny Jacobs is not a finisher. Danny Jacobs is a guy that try to box, and now as he moving up, he trying to box and use his IQ. And it's fine, but his defense is not good enough to get by versus a guy like a David Morrell, who's the regular WBA champion. If you haven't seen him, it's a tough fight for anybody in the division, including Canelo, Cuban Cat. I mean, when you go up there, man, he ain't really been much of a boxer. He kind of tentative. His chin has always been questionable since PR. Most people blamed it on cancer. Came back, knocked out Peter Quillen. But today, in the first 6 rounds, this is what happened when you got an opponent that's there, you hitting them, and you don't get a knockdown or you don't follow up, you don't finish, you laughing and giggling with them right there. Jacobs just doesn't have the killer instinct. He doesn't have the finishing ability. He hurt John Ryder a few times in the first 6 rounds, and he didn't follow up and he at least would have got a knockdown, threw some good body shots, never followed up with 1-2 to the body, come back up top. It was always 1 or 2 good shots minus a jab. He never followed up with 2, 3, 4, never stepped over through his combinations. And once again, that's a part of who he is as a fighter, and that's a part of the rust that he has inactivity. But also, he's never been somebody to finish. He's somebody that like to keep you at arm's length, and it's just something missing. Kind of offense to defense, kind of missing. No, killer instincts kind of missing. He allowed John Ryder to hang around more than he should have allowed John Ryder to hang around. And he really should have pressed on the gas and really stepped over 3 or 4 shots. And Andre Rozier was telling him everything he needed to do in this fight. And in the second half, 7, other than round 12 for sure, Ryder lost. Other than that, I said Ryder won 1 out of 6, I believe it was. So, basically, Jacobs up 5 points, and Ryder came back and won. I don't know, the back 5. So, it could have been a decision. But guess what? You ain't the house fighter. You the A-side financially, but you fighting John Ryder's backyard. So you really realistically could have seen it 6-6. You know what I'm saying? But, he the house fighter. So, he won a split decision, 115-113. So it's 115-113 for Danny Jacobs, 115-113, 2 ways for John Ryder. And Danny Jacobs allowed to happen. But this is why, it's hard to box for 12 rounds and stick and move because you get tired. And what happened was Jacobs' legs, due to the inactivity and due to he's 35 years old, Jacobs' legs went out. So Jacobs had to sit in there. And obviously his defense wasn't good enough. He does the half guard where he was doing this half guard where, his backhand is up like this, but his chin is up. What good serve do that? If you're going half guard, just some people call it the Philly shell. Shorter. If you're going back, it got to be like this. Chin still got to be chucked. If you're going like Keith Thurman got caught going up there, keep your hands up and going like that defeats the purpose. Because even with the best reflexes, if I'm like this and I'm pulling out, maybe Roy Jones can, on the back end and keep his footing. So if you have guarding, orthodox, and you still got to keep your chin down. The only thing you really can give him is this. Put your chin down, and if you hit this a lot of times, you can hurt your hand. You know what I'm saying? And, like I said, half guard, you going up in the air, like it defeats the purpose. You might as well just pretty much, it does give you this. When you going falling back, you moving, you got to be a hell of an athlete to kind of to overcome. You have to tuck the chin, even in the half guard. Yeah, that's why they got the tennis ball. You got to tuck the chin. And like I said before, this is when you allow fighters to stay around and build confidence. And then his legs went. Had he tried to close the deal with a knockdown, he possibly could have got a knockout. That's when you hit guys with 1 or 2 shots, and this is why you have to go in for the kill. That's why the risk is the reward. The risk is worth the reward is worth the risk. And like I said before, maybe he didn't have it in his gas tank to follow up. But Jacobs ain't a good enough. He's a good enough boxer, but he's not conditioned enough and active enough to box for 12 rounds. So what happened was, of course, he sat. People said, "Well, Danny Jacobs is the commentator starting to fight his fight. He don't have the legs. He don't have the legs. He don't have the legs to fight this man fight. He doesn't have the legs. It's as simple as that, man. He becomes a plotter, and now he has to beat this guy, fighting him in the pocket on the inside when he don't have no legs. You know what I'm saying? You know, he didn't go to the ropes. He kept in the center of the ring, and he really was trying to be the Matrix. Catch, shoot, slip, deliver. You know what I'm saying? He, obviously, for a guy who's inactive and 35 years old, it was solid enough. And some people might be like it was good enough for him to win. And I definitely can see that. But you in somebody else's backyard. And this is why people don't like going to the UK. This is why people don't like coming to America fighting American fighters. And Jacobs thought it was going to be a tune-up. And Jacobs never tried to close to Sean Ryder, even though he had him hurt with a lot of good shots that the commentators may or may not call it. You know, and the way he boxes, he flat-footed too. So it ain't like he on his toes. So he boxing flat-footed. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to box flat-footed, when you land a big shot, you have to follow up. And even when he followed up, it looked sloppy, he looked off balance. Legs was gone, you know, but he a dog. He fought through the fatigue. And they say fatigue can make cowards of us all. He fought through the fatigue. And, you know, now you got people saying, should he retire? Now John Ryder can pretty much, you know, pick his shot. You know, he basically almost can pick his shot of who he wants. Just because the caliber fighter, the win that he had, man, over Danny Jacobs is bigger than Caleb Plant. It's bigger than David Benavidez. You know, even at this point, he could put himself in position. He could fight David Morrell for low money as a regular champion as they trying to condense the rest of the regular belts. I mean, he wasn't ranked in the IBF, but this is a big win. You know, maybe he can get in the IBF and fight one of these guys, you know, for a quick title. Maybe put himself in position to fight Demetrius Andrade, also a matchroom fighter. You know, so, you know, maybe he can fight the winner of Benavidez and Lemieux. Benavidez, Lemieux don't fight Demetrius Andrade. Maybe he can take a lesser fight if Edwin Berlanga get past Steve Rose in March. So, I mean, he putting himself in a perfect position. I personally wouldn't go right for David Morrell, but if that's the fight, that's the fight. If I'm him, I'm trying to get some of these other bigger money fights than the more risk than going to the Armory and bringing David Morrell over there. And I tell you this, Morrell not going to play with his field. He gonna get you out of there if you don't get him. So interesting now for Danny Jacobs. Where do you go from here? Probably retirement. You know, he gonna say he wasn't active. He gotta get active. He gonna come back. This has been showing. This has been showing in this throughout his career. In the last few fights, this is kind of been where it is in his career. And you look, you know, since the Golovkin fight, he's fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And look at 7 times now with the loss. And you look, you know, in the Golovkin and the Mora fight, he won because Mora tore his leg up. But if you look, the Luis Arias fight, it was, you know, that was a lackluster performance. This Lucky fight, I thought he lost. Derevyanchenko fight, I thought that was a draw. Nobody really took it. The Canelo fight, he lost. I think he beat Golovkin, by the way. I was there. Julio Chavez Jr., that wasn't a good performance. Rosado, he lost. So it's, you know, the slippage been there, man. I don't know if it's the age or financially being secure, but, you know, the slippage been there. And I think, you know, obviously he's not going to retire because there's money out there to be made. He's a name. You know, Charlo's in trouble, but he's innocent, pursuing guilty. He was a potential opponent in our eyes, possibly for Charlo. The Caleb Plant fight fell through, or the Canelo fight fell through. And now, now where does he go? And I think if you're being honest, he's going to try to get back active. But the slippage has been ever since he fought Canelo. The slippage has been there even before that with Saluki and Luis Arias and Derevyanchenko. Golovkin, even in a loss, which I thought he won, is probably going to be his boiling point, his climax, his highlight reel of his career was beating Gennady Golovkin. But I think if I'm looking on the outside in, which I have no inside knowledge, I think he should retire. You know, he should retire. He's trying to go up fight Joe Smith Jr. Rocky Fielding hurt him 7 times. I know he's inactive, but, you know, physically looking at the gradual slippage with the inactivity, I mean, the only silver lining he can use here is that I was inactive, and that's why I lost. And he's gonna try to get back active, but like I said, he want to. I mean, at 35 years old, do you want to build yourself back up? Can't make 160. I think it's pretty much over with for Danny Jacobs. But Danny Jacobs had a hell of a career coming back being cancer. But I think he will fight again. Try to, you know, prove that this was an anomaly more than a trend. But hey, check the fight reaction playlist out. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit on notifications, increase your chance of notifications. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. Best way to donate. Thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe buttons to comment. Subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Get notifications. Comment. Appreciate the love. Support. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram as well. 2 link subscription. You got business question, card response, video question. Why I say that. Check out the podcast, Spotify, Goodfella TV podcast, Anchor Goodfella TV podcast.